Hey there, in today's video I'm going to show you several shortcuts when you're using Silhouette Studio. I have the business edition, but I'm pretty sure this applies to all editions. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. I'm also going to show you how to print the list of shortcuts. So let's get started. So the first tip I'm going to show you is going to be text. So let's say that you want to type something instead of coming up here and then clicking here. Another thing you can do, I'm going to click escape. You have to make sure that your caps lock is off. So you're going to hit T on your keyboard and then just come up to wherever you want to type your text. In my case, I'm just going to click on the middle. Now you can turn your caps on if you want all caps. Okay, so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to make it red so you can see it better on my screen or on your screen. And I'm going to change the font to something bold. Okay, so that's tip number 1 for text. Again, make sure your caps lock is off and click on T. So that's tip number 1. So tip number 2, let's say when I'm working on something, I always make a copy. I'll hit control down or control to the left or control up or whatever the case is. I'm going to go back. So let's say that I didn't make a copy. I'm working on it, and I'm saying, okay, I got an idea on some colors, so I'm gonna group it. And let's say that I'm working and I'm making all my changes, and I'm on a roll, and I'm like, man, I'm doing good. And then all of a sudden I realize, you know what, I don't even like that anymore. So normally with the normal process, you would go back, however many times. In this case, it's going to be 6 times. So rather than do that, another alternative is if you highlight and you hit Control Z, it undoes the highlight, and then you hit Control Z, and you just keep your finger down on Control and just keep tapping the Z, and it takes you back to where you started. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, let's see, you see this is not grouped. You can go back, or you can Control Z like I just showed you, put it back. So if you want to group it, you can highlight, right click, click group, or you can highlight and hit Control G and it groups it. Tip number 3, I think. Another tip, if you click on M on your keyboard, it turns your registration marks on. I'm not going to get into details on all that up here, but I'm just giving you shortcuts. So turn it off and on. Let's say I want to make stickers. I'm ready to send it to the cutter. Of course, you got to shrink it, but anyway, turn it on and off by hitting M on your keyboard. Tip number 4, I believe. Tip number 5. Let me turn this off. Tip number 5. This happened to me when I first started using Silhouette, and I freaked out. I was like, what in the world? How do I turn it off? I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm new to this. You're working and you accidentally hit H. That turns it on. Crosshairs. That's called a crosshair, obviously, because it looks like a cross or crosses, and then there's thin as air. But anyway, that's how you turn it on and off. You accidentally hit the H somewhere in the midst of your project or whatever you're doing. Just click on H on your keyboard and it turns it off and on. Off and on. I do like the crosshair, but I don't use it that much only because I'm used to having control of what I'm doing on my own, not with the crosshairs. That's tip number 5, I believe. If you want a list of those, all those shortcuts, you can come up here to the top left where it says click on help, and there's a user's manual there. And you can print this if you want, totally up to you. There's 118 pages. That's a lot of ink and a lot of paper. But if you just want the list of shortcuts, you can go here. You can take a screenshot if you want. May not be legible regardless. But anyway, you can print this, and I'm in a screenshot of my screen. But anyway, you can print this out. It's landscape. It's really small. You will need a magnifying glass unless you got 20/20 vision. I wish I did. I don't. But anyway, you can print this on a 13 by 19 sheet and just put it on your wall. There's another tip for you. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. That's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time.